Hola, I'm Darkis and welcome to my studio. On today's video, I'm going to show you how to draw and color lily pads using colored pencils. I'm going to be using a mixture of different brands including Tritone, Prismacolor, and Derwent, as well as other brands which I'll put in the description. For my paper, I'm going to be using Strathmore's Again in Coal Black. Here's the reference picture I used. And here's the outline that I created to make it easy for you to follow along. Although, for the most part, I will recommend that you eyeball it instead, but I did want to give you the option. I start off by sketching out with a canary yellow from Prismacolor. And in case you're wondering, the size of my paper is 6 by 9 inches. So I start off with a rough sketch because that's usually how I approach my drawings and my paintings. I focus on the essence instead of trying to do photorealism, and because I think that they come out less rigid. As I'm drawing, I pay close attention to the angles. And I look to see if my angle is too open or too close. And here is another example. Angles are important because they help guide your sketch. I also look to see how big something is in comparison to something else. For instance, if my main focus is the flower, then I look to see if the leaf on the bottom right-hand corner is smaller or larger than my flower. And always remember that you can do it again. Don't worry about messing it up and don't overthink it, just have fun. Up until now, we have only been focusing on the lines, so now on the next step, we're gonna start focusing on the values. I start filling in the lighter areas with yellow and white, and continue using light pressure. Remember that you can use whatever materials you have available. The reason I'm letting you know what materials exactly is it that I'm using is so that you can follow along. I know that whenever I'm watching other people's tutorials, I'm always wondering what exactly are the shades that they're using or what exact materials they're using. And this is a tip I have for beginning artists. If you don't have any art supplies, you can start building up your art supplies by asking for them as presents, either Christmas presents or birthday presents. If you check out my studio tour, that's how I got most of those paints. Here I continue to add color using Tritone's Forest, which is sort of a mid-tone green. And then I changed to Derwent's Lincoln Green. And this one is more of an earthy green. And before I forget, if you like this video, you'll probably like my koi fish video, so make sure to check it out. I use Rainforest Green to cover my leaf and then I come back with Marigold to do some highlights. Here I went back to working with Prismacolor's Canary Yellow. And I must admit that I didn't really like working with Tritone. And it was mainly because it wasn't as easy for me to deposit the color on the paper. Now, I don't know if it was because I was using the wrong paper or maybe my colors were old, but the other brands seemed to work better on this paper. Even though I wasn't loving working with them, I still wanted to give them a chance and finish the drawing using them. To lighten up my values, I go back to using canary yellow. And for the flower, I'm using Derwent's Rose. After I fill in the pink of the flower, I go back with the white to soften it up. And I keep on making adjustments to it as needed. And as you can see, the flower is slowly but surely starting to take shape. Here I missed the petal, but now I'm adding it with white. For the remainder of the video, I just keep on going back and forth between the colors that I mentioned. And here's the finished piece. And before I go, if you're looking to sell your handmade products online, make sure to check out Renee Christine's free class. The affiliate link is on the description. And of course, if you get on my email list, you'll get all sorts of unadvertised goodies not available to the public. And don't forget that it's okay to start ugly.